So, I wanted to do a postpartum video, kind of a,
Come here.
I wanted to do a postpartum video, kind of explaining my postpartum, labor, delivery, everything up until 4 months now. So, Carter's 4 months old, and it's much better now. Things are a lot better for us now. But to be completely honest, my postpartum has been very hard. So I guess we'll just start from the beginning. I was induced right at 38 weeks, because I went in to have a checkup, and like I usually do, and they did his measurements and he wasn't growing. Lane is a big guy, and he's very like bulky, and so we knew like Carter was gonna be a big baby, but went in for the appointment, everything was fine before, and then all of a sudden when they did his measurements, I knew something was wrong, because the nurse just kept like measuring his head and his stomach, I think it was, and she just kept measuring and kept asking, where does he usually measure? And I told her, like, he usually measures a couple weeks ahead, and where it shows like the estimated how far along you are with the growth, or from the measurements, it said he was only 34 weeks, and I was at 38 weeks. So I knew something was wrong, and she just took the pictures, kept measuring, and just didn't say anything. And then, then she was like, okay, well, I'm gonna, send the pictures to the doctor, and then she'll come in and talk to you. And they never do that, so I was like, okay, what's wrong? And she's like, well, we'll just have the doctor come and talk to you. And so, we were waiting there for 20 minutes, and she came in and she was like, yeah, so it just looks like he's not measuring where he should be, and we're gonna need to send the images off to the other doctor to get approval and just make sure everything's okay. And she wasn't really telling us anything because she wanted to talk to the doctor first. So another like 20 minutes later, she came in and she told me that I needed to be induced because Carter was not measuring where he needs to anymore. They think that there's a growth issue or a nutrition issue, or that my placenta was dying off early, or that my lupus was causing us harm, and causing all these issues, and saying all the stuff that could be wrong. And obviously I just broke and freaked out, and you think you are the one who does something wrong because you are carrying them. And she's like, we could be off by our measurements because they're at the point that they're too big to see on the ultrasound. But she's like, to be on the safe side, to prevent you from having a stillbirth, you need to be induced now. So I mean, when she said stillbirth, I just lost it. And we told her give us a couple hours to get. Jesus. So we told her give us a couple hours to get all of our, go back to the house, get all of our stuff packed, and then, we can go to the hospital after that. So we got to the hospital, I think like 5 in the evening, or I think that's when they started inducing me. Then they broke my water in the morning at like 6, I think. And I got my epidural. What? At 3.5 centimeters after they broke my water. And they at one point had to stop the Pitocin and slow it down because I was having too many contractions too close together and it was making his heart rate drop. So stopped the Pitocin for a while. Then he was born at 2:49 p.m. and he was 6 pounds 6 ounces and he was 20 inches long. And I don't even know what time this was, but I was at 5. So it took about an hour maybe for me to go from 5 centimeters to 10 and pushing. And so we were at 5 centimeters, and then an hour later the nurse came in. She's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna check you and see how far you are. And she checked me and she's like, so you're not gonna believe this, you're 10 centimeters and you're having a contraction right now, so it's time to push. And I was just like, I freaked out. I was like, what? Like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. How long do I breathe? Like, and she told me, she's like, right now, like, I need you to push. That's what you need to do. And so, pushed for a little bit, and then, once that contraction was gone, like, I, had a minute to, like, calm down, and I was just so freaked out, like, I threw up, and it's just because everything happened so fast. And, once the contraction passed and we talked, she's like, okay, this is what you're gonna do, like, this is how you push, this is how long you push, this is, what we're gonna do. So, we pushed for like 15 minutes, and then, it got very close. He was crowning, getting ready to come out, and so she's like, okay, we're gonna wait for the nurse or the doctor to come. So we waited for 20 minutes maybe, and then my doctor came in, and I pushed, I think, maybe another 15-20 minutes. And I had asked him if I was, how bad I was tearing, or how bad I did tear after he was born. And she had told me it was just a 2nd-degree tear on the outside, or a small tear on the outside is what she said. And I was like, okay, cool. And then my mom, she was down by my feet at this time, and it's a good thing she was, because she had noticed like something didn't look right, and she told the lady, and she's like, that doesn't look right, like, what is that? And the nurse was like, oh, that's a good thing you saw that. That's a giant piece of gauze that she was going to leave inside of me. So got that out, she stitched me up, and then once my epidural wore off, like, later that night, I just remember saying, like, it hurt really bad, and it was hurting really bad to sit down. And I had asked the doctor, and she's like, well, you just had a baby, like, it's gonna hurt. And I told her, I was like, I know it's gonna hurt, but it hurts really, like, really bad. Like, I feel like it hurts more than it should. And she's like, well, wait till your 6-week, checkup, and you're still having the pain, like, talk to your doctor. And so even when we went home, I still remember telling Lane, like, it hurt really bad to sit down. It hurt to move, it hurt to do anything, like, hurt a lot more than it should. And so, fast forward to my 6-week postpartum checkup. That was that pain, I cannot describe, like, that hurt bad. So, what happened was my doctor, so when I had him, I didn't have my doctor deliver him because she wasn't there, so it was another doctor. So my doctor hadn't seen me since, or whatever, how many weeks it was in my pregnancy. So when I went in for the checkup, she checked my cervix, and it brought me to tears. It made me so shaky, it made me throw up, like, it was hurting so bad. And she didn't notice it at first, and so I had left, went home after that appointment, and I bled for 8 weeks. So at this point, I think I was 8 or 9 weeks, and I just remember I was still in a lot of pain. And I was talking to my sister, and I was like, I know I'm gonna hurt, but I don't think I should be hurting as bad as I am this far along, 9 weeks later. And so I set up another appointment with my doctor, and I talked to her. I was like, I'm hurting really bad, and I don't think I should be hurting this bad. And she checked again, and she's like, well, the reason you're hurting is because you have a open tear on the inside of your vagina that the doctor who delivered him missed and did not stitch. So in reality, I had a 4th-degree tear, and the doctor who I had missed it, and she only stitched the outside. And so this whole time, I've had an open wound on the inside of my vagina, and it was hurting very bad. And so we had talked, and she's like, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to give you some estrogen cream because I'm breastfeeding, and she had told me that your body's not releasing estrogen like it would if you weren't breastfeeding. So she gave me some estrogen cream, and she's like, we're going to use some silver nitrate and burn the wound closed. And if this doesn't work in a few weeks, then we'll do surgery. And I was gonna have to go under, have surgery, have her recut where I tore, and stitch it all back together in one stitch. Oh my jeez. And so we ended up not doing the surgery. We did the estrogen cream, and what helped was doing the silver nitrate, burning it closed. We did that 3 different times, and that first time, like, that hurt. Ooh, that hurt real bad. So it took me a good, Carter's 4 months now. 3 months to really heal. And no, I didn't wear jeans until 3 months because it was so uncomfortable and hurting, and it hurt to still move and sit down, and muscle pain and all this. And now, I'm better now, but it took me probably until about 3 months that I could say that I was fully healed. And my doctor wanted me to do pelvic floor therapy, so I've been doing that. I can do it from home, so that's what I've been doing. And I have to go talk to my doctor. I'm still having a lot of muscle pain. So I got the Mirena, and I got that placed probably 2 weeks ago. And the muscle pain that I've had since I had Carter, to where it hurts really bad if I stand. It feels like this giant pressure is just falling, and it hurts to walk. It hurts to go from sitting to standing, and it's just a lot of pain in my muscles still, like to touch around my vagina. And it's been hurting more after getting the birth control. So I'm gonna go talk to her about that and just kind of make sure everything's okay. But yeah, so as far as body-wise postpartum, like that, it was rough. It took a long time healing. Lane and I didn't have sex until 4 months. Carter's 4.5 months, so it took a while, and I was terrified to do it. And we haven't since. I mean, it still scares me, but I'm better, definitely. So as far as body-wise, like that's where I am now. The postpartum, mentally, that's been rough too. So I had anxiety before I was pregnant, and I was taking medicine for it, and I was afraid that I was going to get anxiety, depression, or postpartum anxiety and depression after having Carter. So my doctor and I had already had that conversation, like, this is what we're going to do if that happens. And 2 weeks I went in and talked to her, because after having Carter, I guess it was baby blues. I had baby blues really bad, and I could not have Carter out of my sight, and I would try and take a shower and have Lane hold him, and I would just be in the shower and start having a panic attack because Carter was not there with me. So I had went and talked to my doctor, and she's like, well, right now it sounds like baby blues. If in a couple weeks you still feel what you feel, come back, we'll get you on some medicine again. So, I had baby blues bad, and I went in a couple weeks later because I still felt down and felt what I was feeling, and she gave me some medicine, and I don't know why I didn't want to take it, so I never took it. I was just kind of dealing with what I was feeling without medicine. And I didn't so much have postpartum depression, but I had anxiety. And it's better now that he's 4 months, now that, he's older. It's not fresh and brand new, and we have routines and we're used to it. It's not brand new. It's better, but I still have the anxiety. I still haven't left Carter, with anyone. I still haven't gone to do something and left him. I don't know that I will anytime soon, but I still have the anxiety pretty bad. And not so much, I'm not having panic attacks anymore. I'm not freaking out if Carter's not in my sight. Like, I can walk away, I can put him down for a nap, and like, I'm okay. I was expecting that before I had him, but the one thing I didn't expect is postpartum anger. I knew there was postpartum. What are you doing? I knew there was postpartum depression. I knew there was postpartum anxiety. I didn't know of postpartum anger. And that is kind of a tough thing for me to talk about because of the thoughts that I have sometimes. Not so much anymore because Carter's getting easier. But I can't bring myself to say the thoughts that I have sometimes, because it makes me feel like a terrible mom. And that is not what I want for Carter. And that's not, I promised he was never going to feel any hurt, and, he was never gonna have to feel pain from any love or anything like that. And so having like those thoughts is very hard to talk about, because I felt like I was the only one, and I felt like I'm a terrible mother, and that is the very last thing I want. And I mean, he's a fussy baby. We had colic, and he's just very fussy. And so Lane, with his job and traveling, he was home for the first 2 weeks, and then he left, and the colic set in at 3 weeks. And so I, was here doing it by myself, and it was just hard. It was hard mentally, and, it's just rough. And we're better now, but we had plenty of nights of crying, and just finally getting him down to sleep after hours of screaming, and just going in the bathroom and just crying, and taking a shower and crying, because it's hard. And I don't think postpartum anger really gets talked about like it should, because it's a tough thing to talk about, because of those thoughts. Like, I would have thoughts of doing things, not necessarily to Carter, and I never would, but thoughts of like just throwing him on the bed, and just like shoving the pillow in my face or his face, or just things like that, and just get so frustrated with him. And I wasn't expecting that, and I wasn't expecting the frustration and anger I would have, not only towards everybody else, but towards Carter, when he is crying like he is, or like he did. I wasn't expecting to get mad at Carter. I wasn't expecting to, just get so angry at him because he is crying for a reason, because something's wrong, and to get mad at him for it, it makes you feel terrible. But I'm just being honest and open about it, and it's hard to say that I have those thoughts, because you get afraid of the backlash you'll get from everybody. When I'm out here, I'm trying my best. I'm trying to be the best mom I can for Carter, and so having someone tell you like you're a bad mom, or you're just anything that has to go against you being a mom to your baby, like, it's hard. So it's a touchy subject for me to talk about, but it happened. We're better now, but he's still a pretty fussy baby, but he, we went through the colic, we went through sleep regressions, we went through, we're teething right now, went through, not feeling good, the acid reflux, and stomach issues, and all of that. So, he's in pain a lot, but it's just exhausting when he's constantly fussy. And our huge thing was the car seat. So he hated his carrier car seat, and I could not put him in it because he would scream bloody murder. Like when I say scream bloody murder, he would scream bloody murder until he stopped breathing, and you had to stop the car, rip him out of his car seat, get him to breathe, because he would just scream so bad in his car seat. And I hated going anywhere. Even if I just went like 5 minutes up the road, he would just scream. And I finally switched his car seat. I switched him to one of the ones that grow with you, and it's rear facing now, and he's sitting up in it, and so he likes it more. He doesn't scream like that at all anymore. You know, I put the tablet with our cartoons on and in the car, and it's nice. And now, you know, we have a routine of you know, bath time and stuff at night, and our naps that the same time every day, and just, you know, we have it down now, and it's getting easier. He's still, yes, a very fussy baby, and it gets very frustrating because I can't get anything done, or I can't, you know, set him down because he's just fussy, and he doesn't sleep through the night, and I'm tired, and you know, he eats every 2 hours on the clock, like round the clock, on the dot, whatever, every 2 hours, and it's just tiring, and that's just part of it. I understand that, you know, it's just part of being a mom, it's part of them growing, but some days are easier than others. And, you know, obviously I would do it all again, and I would do it every single day to have him, but, yeah, I mean, it's just been a rough postpartum, rough on me physically and mentally, and rough on Carter, and, we're finally, you know, 4.5 months now, getting better. So, I mean, it's just, a rough thing to deal with and talk about, but, it is what it is, and we're here, and he is a blessing, and, it'll get easier as time goes on, and I love watching him grow and, you know, turn into this little human he is, and it's great. But yeah, that's pretty much my postpartum, where we're at 4.5 months in. It's been a rough postpartum, especially for your first baby. It's been rough. But, that's kind of where we are now, and, yeah, this is my chunky butt. You say hi, Carter? Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, I love you. But, yeah, I kind of just wanted to do a postpartum video and kind of fill you in and explained where we are and how it's been